good morning to you beautiful 923 subscribers. Down by 5 because I've not been talking. So, apparently, I have to talk in order to attract people. So anyway, welcome back. So I've not been online for a while. I hit a big milestone birthday, so I've been celebrating for a couple of weeks. So we have been working, but we've just not been reporting. So hope you're all well. Thanks for checking in. Don't forget before I start, if you can give me some comments down below. Jeff, thank you very much for your comments in the last couple of days. Sandra, welcome to the channel. A few new people. I did upload a little video today from just before we actually started our celebrations. So that will give you an update on some of the bits that we've been doing, and I'll take you through now and show you some of the things we finished off on. I have to try and remember, it's been 2 weeks. So anyway, let me start off by showing you, we're at the front, so what have we done? Okay, so we've actually just stained the front path and the lead up to the steps, just to try and make it a little bit more pleasant, because this concrete is absolutely disastrous. We've had a few people out to give us some examples on what they can do to try and help us make it look more pretty, but no one's come back to us as so far. So we're still waiting. We might even go up a little bit higher on this. I know it's going to cause an issue on the entrance into the garage, but it is what it is, as they say. But yeah, it doesn't look great. So I think if we actually maybe take this down by 3, 4, 5 mil and then put some epoxy coating on top, that would be the best thing to do. So there is a guy called Dirk on the island. Dirk, if you're watching, look forward to seeing your quote. I'm chasing you. So fingers crossed, he'll come up with some solutions that we might be able to do on here. I mean, worst case scenario, we'll just paint it like it is there. I think you'll agree. It does look okay over there. I just don't like the finish, and I just hate this brush effect. I know it gives grip. I know it's the most common thing to do, but it just looks bloody awful. So what I wanted to do on here, obviously, before we did this, was make it look as if it was paving slabs and have AstroTurf in between all of it. That's what I wanted to do, and I potentially still could do that. So we might be able to look at some form of thin slab that goes onto it, but again, it's just a nightmare, and trying to find someone to do it is the biggest problem. Anyway, what have we done? Okay, round here about the wind. We've had all these cut back. These were going absolutely crazy, so we've cut all those back. We've obviously stained out here. We've stained this. We've cleaned all the actual doorways, etc. Our aloe vera plant is going crazy, which is awesome, and this had a beautiful flower on it the other day. I'm not too sure if you guys have seen the aloes grow a flower before, but it did. It's obviously fallen off now. These ones are bedded in quite nicely. These are more like cactus. As you can see, they've got big spikes on them, but they're growing quite well. This one shed all of its leaves, but it's now coming back, which is good, so we haven't killed it. These are for sale. If anybody knows anybody, let me know. They're on Marketplace. I've had loads of people inquire, but I think people misunderstand how much these things cost to build. These were actually £2,000 just to make. So this is what the glass screen came in. This is the back panel, and that obviously is the front panel. So if anyone wants to ship glass, that's what you would normally build and use. So £2,000 worth of product, and about 1,500 Bajans worth of wood. So if anybody knows anybody that wants it, let me know. They're definitely going to be looking to disappear. We've had these restained. I don't think I did this last time I saw you. So these have been redone. The window is now in and finished. The inside has all been plasterboarded and painted, and siliconed in. This has all been stained. The only thing we haven't done is the return just around the back here, which we do need to get around to doing. The AstroTurf has been laid on the floor outside because there's a bit you see, and the condensers are all in, as is the air conditioning. So that's all nice. Okay, before we go through into the outside, let me quickly show you down here. Skirting boards are now all back on again. PVC skirting boards, that is. Skirting boards here, in the bathrooms themselves. They've all been done. As you know, we had a leak on the outside and it destroyed all of our skirting boards. Thank you very much. And this bedroom here, obviously it destroyed all the skirting boards along here, and it also destroyed this wall. So the wall is now back in place. The plaster's been done. We've still got to finish off this little bit in the corner here, but most of it's all been in, siliconed, caulked, painted, etc, etc. So that's all been done. The door that kept on, the door lock, the bathroom door lock that wasn't right has been redone. Just to show you what you have to do on that, by the way, if you guys ever have the problem where a door is put in and it doesn't shut. I've had to take this back off again. You hammer some wood, back into the old holes to finish them off. You remark it, you recut it, reset it, and then the screws go back in again. The downside is I've still got to get that little bit of where we've obviously moved it forward by 2 mil. We're gonna have to get that refilled. So that's got to be done. But I think you'd agree, certainly when you shut the door here, the window, now it's all finished, does look absolutely amazing. And we've also finished the outside as well, which I'll show you in a second. Air conditioning holes, vents are in. I bought some grey vinyl over from England, so I'm going to get those redone in a grey vinyl so they're hidden a bit more. And we've also had the new nests from the US sent over. These are gold ones, the other ones were copper. Again, they're learning thermostats. Nest do 2 thermostats. They do this one here, which is the learning thermostat, which is the most expensive one. And technically what that means is, as and when you turn it up and down because you're hot or cold, or you're in and around the house a little bit more, it gets to know what you're doing and it starts changing your schedule. As you can see here, it's currently set to 90, which means it won't come on, which I'm going to change back to centigrade actually, because everyone on the island keeps talking Fahrenheit. Sorry, centigrade, but obviously it's been set in Fahrenheit. Anyway, as you can see, it's set to 88. It's currently 88 in the room. At 90 means it won't come on. So we've got this one here that controls that side, I think. Yeah, that's the living room. And then on this side, we have another one which we still have to finish off because they had to put the old new thermostat on there because these ones didn't turn up. We had a real nightmare with the port trying to get these out for some unknown reason. So my advice to anybody importing, do not use UPS. Every time I use UPS, I have a major problem with them. So it took 4 weeks nearly to get these delivered from the US. They landed within 4 days. So God knows what was going on. But in the end, I had to speak to the customs guys at the airport to get them out. But in the meantime, they had to put another thermostat on it to make them work. So they've now taken it off, but they've left a raw plug in there and a little hole. So we're going to have to fill this. So today I'm going to go and buy some new paint. I'm probably going to keep it the same colour. In the meantime, we actually had the powers put back in as well, these two. We had power, if you remember rightly, up here. So we've got to get that filled because that's where the actual electrics go through for the 2 plug sockets. That's got to be filled, sanded and painted. So are those, and then the whole thing I'm going to get repainted again. And I'm also going to get a satin wood in the same colour, and I'm going to paint a fake skirting board on here to ensure that the hoover and the mop isn't actually marking it. I don't want to put a skirting board on it, I want it as it is, but as you can see, the mopping and the hoovering, etc., is making marks all the way around it. So I'm going to get a satin wood, which is an oil-based paint, and I'm just going to literally 6 inches, paint a 6-inch all the way around. So it'll be slightly different in, this will be very flat, and that will be slightly shiny. All the skirting boards are painted in the same, by the way. So that's going to get done as well. I haven't ordered this yet. I've got to order 2 vent grills for underneath here. So 2 14-inch, that actually goes underneath here 14 inches as it does at the other end. They need to be done. And also around here, we made 2 really bad makeshift ones here out of wood. Just, these are the returns. So also the air is being sucked, the hot air is being sucked down into here by the air conditioning units to be cooled and sent back in again. But obviously when we removed the wood, there was 2 massive holes. So we decided to make something like that for now. So bad on the eye, but functional. These have worked out really good. As you can see, we got some. Now, unfortunately, all round, we're meant to make all 15 like this. But unfortunately, I don't know what happened, but they didn't make them all like that. They made them like this one. So we can use some of them, but we can't use all. So I now need to speak to Allround, because the rear rooms, when we do the air conditioning in the rear now, we are definitely going to have more built like this. Because, for example, there's one just underneath there in the room. That needs to blow that way. So I can't have it going left or right. It has to aim into the room. So I did say to Scott all round I would see how it goes. And if I can get away with it, then I'll keep them as they are. But it's not going to work. So I need to reach out to him today as well about the 2 grills here, the 2 grills underneath there, and then potentially changing the ones that we just can't work with. Kitchen fitter is on the missing list at the moment, as always. I'm going to chase him down like a savage dog today. He's meant to be building these 6 doors, which I still haven't had, and I'll update you on that in a second when we go into the cottage on how we're getting on with the kitchen. We found a way of actually matching colour on doors, which I want to pass on to you, because there isn't anyone on the island that seems to understand it. So I've had to learn, and I found out how to do it. which means that hopefully I can pass on some information to you guys so that if you ever have to match paint, you don't go through the same pain that I've been through. So the issue is at the moment, we had to build these 2 units extra to make the kitchen longer, and they don't do those doors in England, and I couldn't get them here anyway. So we've got to try and match that colour to the doors we're going to make down there, and we had to do the same in the kitchen over here. If you remember rightly, I needed 5 doors, I only had 4. So we've now got to match that colour. We've changed over there now, so that wasn't so much of an issue, but we still had end panels. So anyway, to cut a long story short, I went to Automotive and I found a way around it, which I'll go through in a minute when we go over to the kitchen. Okay, what's happening out here? We are redoing the cracks at the moment on the floor. We used Rockite, which is the hardest bloody concrete on the market. And it didn't work, it just kept on, every time it rained, it just got thinner and thinner and kept coming up. So we're using tile adhesive. So, you know, standard tile adhesive. We're using an outside tile adhesive in the hope that it's waterproof and it shouldn't come up. Now, so far, it seems to be going down really well. So we let it dry last night and see how it went, and now we're finishing it off. And what we're going to do is we're going to sand that down to a point where it's nice and level. And then my crazy idea. So, to make the patio look nicer, because as you can see, it's polished concrete, but it's patchy and it just looks a bit awful. And on top of that, where the dark patches are, where the polish actually has happened, like here, bloody hot to walk on, really is hot. So we need to come up with a solution that enables us to have a non-slip area, because it's bloody slippery when it gets wet. Budget is tight, so we need to try and make sure we put something down that's not going to absolutely rape my kidneys and livers. I've already sold one as it is. And at the same time, it's got to look good. So it's got to be the right colour, it's got to be affordable, and it's got to offer a non-slip solution, and ideally make the patio waterproof. So I've thought about all different ideas. I've priced up the tiles, these tiles here. How much would it be to do the whole patio in these? It'd be about 20,000. That's an option. The downside is it will be higher than the patio, than the pool area itself, by whatever the tile adhesive and the tile is going to be. Let's say it's going to be 1/2 inch. So that would be one issue, but it'll be non-slip and they'll look really nice. And also we'd be able to lose some of the actual flat, yeah, the dips we got on here and the puddles, the puddling we get on there. We'd lose that as well if, massive if, I can find a decent tiler, which as you know is bloody difficult on this island, and anywhere in the world. Option 2, stain it. I'll paint it. It being polished, it will be very difficult for what solution I find to adhere to the surface. As soon as it's polished, it doesn't absorb anything. So a stain will stain into concrete because it's porous. All concrete's porous, but when you polish it, you take the porous out of it, which means that the stain can't penetrate. So it will just come away. So we've done a couple of test samples in the driveway, and they have been coming away, and even that's on a porous surface. So it is an option. But I think what we'd have to do is we would have to scuff it somehow, try and use some form of machine to try and scuff the surface up, to try and get it so it's going to be dusty and it's going to be messy. That's another option. The third option, roof rubber. So I started thinking the other day, if I can actually get white roof rubber and I can change the colour of that roof rubber. Now I know it's an acrylic roof rubber, but you must be able to add an acrylic colour to it. So when you go into Koymans and you want to have a gallon of paint changed to black, grey, whatever the colour is, they start off with a 1 gallon of white, and the machine pumps colour into that gallon. They mix it, they shake it, and it gives you the colour. So then we must be able to do the same thing. If we can try and take a colour sample from something like this and take that into Koymans and try it in white first and paint it on the floor and see what it looks like. If it can get a good colour, then we must be able to buy a 5 gallon tub of Henry, for instance, which is white rubber, and do the same thing, add the colour to it, get it shaken to death, and hopefully we can roll the rubber on. Now rubber does what it says, it grips, so we should be able to roll the rubber onto here and it will give us a waterproof surface. It will give us, hopefully we should be able to give us the colour we want. We don't want white, it'd be too bright, so it needs to be an off-white like this. This colour's beautiful, it's like a creamy grey. It means you can walk on it, you don't burn your feet. And at the same time, it will waterproof all the cracks, and it will also create that non-slip. So am I being mad, guys? Let me know in the comments below. Am I being absolutely crazy? Or would it tick those 3 things, plus the other one, which is budget? I think we'd get away with at least 2 tubs, 2 5-gallon tubs, 380 a piece. So for 700 in time, we could paint this, make it look amazing, get a rubberized surface, and it should grip. Now what we did in the meantime is we've repainted the steps here, which you might not have seen. So these are all repainted now. They were like a dark grey. They're now the concrete grey, which is a lovely colour, but it is a little bit slippery. So again, if we painted it in a pool and patio stroke decking paint, it would look great, but it wouldn't give us the grip that we're looking for. So we tested it on here, and we also tested it on here as well. We stained these, and they look amazing. So it would give us the right colour. However, I tested that yesterday. I stood on that yesterday in the sun, and it was bloody hot. So it's got to be something that's quite light. That you can stand on all day, no problems at all. Nice and white, doesn't get hot at all. These are absolutely fine. They're a little bit warmer than this, but absolutely fine. You can stand on it. As soon as you stand on here, certainly the dark patches, Jesus, you know about it. But this one here, we did these manholes, these 3, 1, 2 there, 1 over here. Just too hot. You can't stand on them. Way, way too hot. Also, we changed the colour of this. We've gone anthracite. So I hope you all agree. That looks a lot better than it was. It would look good, okay before, but we've matched the colour of the door frames, and we've gone with the same colour. So this is by the way, if you want to get a colour matched, it seems that most companies on the island use RAL codes, RAL, RAL codes. So this is RAL code 7016. So RAL 7016 is anthracite grey, which is a dark grey. You take that code in, and they can punch it into the computer at Koymans, and they can give you the paint. So that's what that is. That is an exterior. I don't know what it is actually. It's an emulsion of some sort, but anyway, it's an exterior one. And it wasn't that expensive, and that just bought 1 gallon. It looks 10 times better. Very, very similar grey, but it does look a lot better. So you know the windows are all in. Got marks and bloody all sorts all over them because I was doing this yesterday. Make sure it's not wet. So in here, great mattress, but they delivered the wrong size, as you can see. So anybody wants a decent mattress, by the way, this Cariloa, they're actually in Lime Grove. They've got some special deals on at the moment. This is a Californian mattress made out of bamboo. They do all different sizes. As you can see, the top unzips, and you can completely wash the outsides. But they did deliver the wrong size. We told them what size the bed was. It told them it's 200 by 200, and they sent that one for some unknown reason. So anyway, they let us use this in the meantime, and the pillows, and they said use and abuse, and then we'll come and pick up when the new one is ready and in. And apparently it's just arrived. So as you can see, the difference in size. The windows here still aren't finished on the inside as yet because we've had people staying in here, but as you can see, the actual plastic finishes we're going to use are actually on the bottom already, and I'm actually going to get them on the side as well rather than doing the silicone and the fill-in. It's a ball ache, so we're going to do that. This door, by the way, one thing you have to be really careful with, I always use fixer foam, as do most window fitters in England, but they don't really do it here. If you're going to use fixer foam, make sure that the door is shut and locked before you do it, because what the fixer foam does, even though it's only foam, it does push the actual frames. I learned the hard way. I left that door open, I fixer foamed it, and then when I went to shut that wouldn't shut. So I had a bloody nightmare to then try and drill more holes in here, pull the frame over, and it's okay now, but yeah, note to self, always make sure if you're fixer foaming a window, shut the bloody thing before you do anything, otherwise it will physically push the frame without you even knowing it, and it won't shut. Sherwin is still doing stuff in here. He's just finishing stuff off, filling some gaps, and we'll repaint in here anyway. And the stainless steel hinges, latch pulls, if you want to call them like that. I had those put in as well, did them myself. Did them with a hammer and chisel as well. No routers. Check me out. So anyway, they're in, and as you know, we did have the leak downstairs, but we're nice and dry down there now, and no leaking going on as we speak. So I've actually put some flood sensors down there as well. I think I've told you about the flood sensors. I think, oh no, they're in a drawer somewhere. But anyway, the flood sensors themselves, I'll show you one in a minute. They're downstairs, plug them in, and it's got a cable that comes onto the floor, and if, for whatever reason at all, there's any water, the sensor senses the water, it hits it automatically starts alarming, but they're not very loud. but the phone app does then start letting you know you have a leak and where you have it. Not very good on the actual wireless over here, so one of the things we're going to be doing the next couple of weeks is running a cable from our electric room over the road over to here and getting internet connection over here. The pool pump room needs it as well, down here needs it as well, and in here, if anyone does stay, they need it as well. So kitchen saga. As you can see, it looks finished, but it's not. But let me show you very quickly. Okay, so what we decided to do was to take one cupboard out and put a freestanding fridge in there. But obviously what I didn't want was some ugly fridge. So thank God, PriceMart had these igloos in there for 840 Bayesian, and it's wider and taller than most of them out there. So I've got one downstairs, but it's not that big. So it fills the gap okay. And then we put the end panel on this side rather than that side. As you can see, all 4 doors are on, but they're my doors I brought over, and that is my kickboard from over the road as well, so that goes on there quite nicely. So a lot of you commented it being floating. I didn't want it floating. It looks lovely, but in a rental, certainly if this is going to be rented out at some stage, you have some people that think they can sit on the side, and then before you know it, the whole kitchen's on the floor and water's going everywhere. And on top of it, I prefer it to be sealed. I think it looks better, but again, it's a personal preference. Panel. There is the panel, there's the matching colour. It's not as matching as we thought it was going to be. As you can see it's very dark compared to this one here. So even with the naked eye, you can see that is darker than that. But anyway, what I was trying to say to you guys was, it's not perfect, and they even pulled this off, look. So it's got to be redone. But we went to Automotive Art, and what she said is, give me a sample, which we gave her. And she made the paint and dabbed it on it and dabbed it on it and dabbed it on it, kept on making it and dabbing it and dabbing it, and then in the end she knew exactly what the colour was. However, you can now see that it's not the same. That is a lot darker than these. So I think we did the right thing by actually making sure that all of these were my doors, and anything matching was going to be around the other sides. You really can see the dark there. Look, that panel is black versus this. So if we'd done it here, it would have been an absolute eyesore. So thank God it's not. The sink is nice, like I told you guys. PriceMart sink, $749. Comes with a tap, comes with the soap, comes with all of these little gizmos and gadgets and the actual troughs. And a little cutting board to go with it as well. So $749 for that. It's an absolute bargain. So get yourselves in there and buy one whilst they're still in stock. So anyway, the kitchen itself is not finished yet. We've still got to get the actual shelves put inside each one of the units. The sink area's got to be sorted out as well with regards to the shelves. Handles, we still got to put handles on because these ones aren't soft close openers. They are. I'm going to have handles put on these ones. And the unit, the sink top, the countertop is in, but it's not fixed down. So it needs to be fixed down and siliconed. So yeah, to finish it off, it's literally getting these 2 end panels recolored to the right color. It's fixing down the top, it's silicone the top. And I think within reason, that's pretty much it for this. So yeah, that's where we are so far. Bathroom, as you saw the last time, I think on the video you're gonna be watching, everything was done bar this panel and the frame. Again, we're gonna try and find some finishes to go around here rather than filling it and sanding it and creating loads of work. We've cut the actual fixer foam back, but we just need to put some form of nice plastic finish around here, and then we're waiting for this panel to be replaced. Now, one thing that I do want to make you guys aware of, which is a problem I'm actually having at the moment. So, be very, very, very careful with whoever you use importing your products into Barbados. 2 problems I've had. You know about the garage door. The garage door was delivered damaged. Now, I've been waiting since September. The first week of September was when I found out the garage door was damaged. In the meantime, I've been chasing to find out who's going to take responsibility for the damage. So you use a shipping company in England to pack the product, accept the product, and put it into a container. It gets shipped to Barbados. Now, within reason, apart from bad shipping, there's not really a great deal that happens with the product on the way over. It gets to the port, and someone at the port unloads that product. And then normally that shipping company will tell the port to use a broker here, and the broker will take that from the port onto a lorry, and you'll either come and pick it up or they'll deliver it for you. That's a brief overview of the process. So the garage door was shipped to Kestrel. Kestrel loaded it into a container. It was then put onto a ship and sent over on the water. The port obviously opened the container to confirm it was what I said it was, and then Calvin Elkins delivered the product to me. The product landed up being virtually bent in half. So something happened between Kestrel, the port, and Calvin Elkins. So I received a damaged and bent door. So I've now been trying to find out who's responsible for it, and no one takes any responsibility. So I've got no idea. I don't really care who damaged it. It's an accident, so someone's done it. But either way, I need to have the door remade, repaid for, and reshipped. So I've paid to have a damaged door delivered, and as a result of that, I've got to pay tax and duty to have that product delivered, as well as delivery fees. And this has been going on for months. So to cut a very long story short, I've gone and bought another door myself and said, once the insurance claim comes through, you're gonna have to pay me direct. I can't wait any longer. So I've ordered the door and I've shipped the door. Now I get a 2,800 Bayesian bill from Calvin Elkins to clear it out of the port and pay tax and duty and shipping. So I'm like, you've got to be shitting me. There's no way in the world I'm gonna be paying tax, duty and shipping again on an item that you sent and damaged. So at the moment, I'm being called unreasonable. Apparently I'm unreasonable for expecting them to cover the costs of the shipping, the tax and the duty that I've already paid for the door that I already bought that was damaged by one of them. So this has been going on for ages now. So I still don't have the door, and now I've been told it's gonna be the same with the window. So the window's been broken by them. They shipped the window. I've had to pay tax and duty to get the window here, which is installed broken, and they're sending me another payment, which they paid for because they broke it. But now I'm going to be charged again to ship it, and I'm going to be charged again to take it out of the port on tax and duty, which is just ludicrous. So just be really careful about who you use and what's going on, certainly if it's a fragile or expensive product, because at the moment I'm having problems with these people taking responsibility for shipping my product. It was delivered to them in good condition, and it came to me in bad condition. Accidents happen, I completely understand that, but you can't then expect the person that's already paid to have it shipped and cleared to be responsible for it. But apparently that's what they do. So anyway, I still don't have the window in the cottage because that's part of the 2,800. They've got the garage door and they've got the window, but they're not delivering it because I won't pay the 3,000 Bayesian. And I'm not going to pay the 3,000 Bayesian because I didn't damage it, and I've already paid the tax and duty on the products that are damaged. So, bloody difficult one. And I've used these guys for a lot of products. You know, there's been a lot of tax, a lot of duty, a lot of shipping, a lot of admin. You know, I've paid a lot of money to these people to get these products here, and this is how they currently treat you at the end. So, be careful. And from my point of view, if anybody knows any decent shipping companies and brokers apart from the two that I've mentioned, please let me know, because if I don't get the right result to getting those products to my door without having to pay for them, then I'll be finding two other people to do the job, because I can't trust. If I can't trust them to deal with my product and pay for what I've had, then I can't continue to use them. So what a shame. But anyway, that's where we are with the garage door at the moment, and the window. We can't get them sorted and changed and rectified until the products are here. And I'm certainly not going to be paying more tax and more duty that I've already paid on top of that, that's for sure. Okay, back garden. Back garden. There is another pain in my backside. Again, budget is tight, and for some unknown reason, grass and grass seeds on this island are bloody expensive. So we are still looking at a black sheet at the moment. My thought is, so here's my thought, you tell me whether I'm crazy or not. I'm thinking about a border all the way along here and all the way along here, and having plants and you know, and some trees, some mini palms, some lovely flowers, all the way around. I'm thinking about doing a concrete path here, so I want a concrete path all the way along, but I want it split into 2 foot. So lines every 2 foot all the way along, so it looks like slabs. So I want a concrete path all the way around here, all the way around there, all the way down to the front. And I want that cut into 2 foot, so it looks like they're 2 foot slabs. And then we can stain that a different colour, and we can play around with that. And then here, I'm thinking AstroTurf. Sorry guys. Sorry, I know you don't want to hear it, but it's so expensive to do grass, and it takes so long to get it done. And I can get AstroTurf in there cheaper than I can grass. what I don't have to water. I mean, look, we've got a hose pipe ban at the moment. If I was to add that grass in now, that would have been a disaster. So imagine if I'd had the grass put in 3 weeks ago, I'd be sitting in now with a hose pipe ban thinking, oh my God, I've got 18, 20 grand's worth of grass about to go down the drain. What was of AstroTurf? So the negatives of AstroTurf. Okay, big negative, it's bloody hot. You can't even walk on it in the sun. It's red hot. So it looks great, but it's completely unfunctional when it comes down to being used. That's the first problem. Second problem, wildlife, bees, you know, you name it, bugs. It's certainly going to go against that. And obviously the other problem is you can't sit on it and use it as a garden, which I'm sure the kids and the family would love to do at some stage. Positives, it's cheaper than grass. It doesn't need any maintenance. There's no weeding. Don't have to cut it. Doesn't need watering. So yeah, let me know in the comments below what you think. If I can literally get that done for 16 grand and it's going to cost me 18 to 20,000 to do grass, let me know what you think I should do. Okay, apart from that, oh, the outside. There you go. So remember, the actual top piece and the side piece wasn't done, so that's been finished off. The wall's been painted right up to the very top now. So yeah, it looks beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Nice and square, nice and sharp. Lets in loads of light. Very, very, very happy. Our plants have been put down here because they're actually getting wind burn. So you can see here, look, they're not looking very pretty at all. So they were up here, but they literally do not like the salt air. So they were indoors and we were told they can go outside. So we put them out in the shade, then we put them in the sun, and now they look like that. So we're gonna have to trim them and keep them out of the sun stroke wind. Again, anybody knows about these plants in particular, let me know what the best thing to do is, because at the moment they're not surviving up here with the salt and the air here. So where can we put them? Can't put them around the front because it's the same. Might get away of putting them down here somewhere, maybe around this border, because it is a little bit protected, but again, it's going to be very, very similar. So let me know your thoughts on that. Other than that, obviously, like I said, Sherwin is actually mixing up the tile adhesive and putting it all into the cracks, and we're letting that go off, and then we're going to sand it down. Hopefully it will bond and seal, because it is waterproof after all. Hopefully that will give us a better resistance against the actual rain. We did do one last night here, which has gone really hard, so that looks all right. So we're going to get it sanded down, and then hopefully the rubber will work on this patio, and we'll be able to just literally paint it and finish it off. It will look absolutely gorgeous when it's one colour that you can stand on it. It's all nice and uniform and clean. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Fingers crossed it'll adhere and stay and do a great job for what in effect will be under 1,000 Bayesian. No, I don't think there's anything else I need to update you on at this present time. I think we're pretty much there. So again, sorry for not checking in with you guys. I'll maybe do a separate video at some stage on the pool, because now the pool is in. It's a salt pool, which I think you guys have seen already. I've told you guys plenty of times. But yeah, maybe my journey on it being a salt pool and the products I use, because I didn't use Island products for the base, which I told you about, so I can give you an update on that. And I can also give you an update on the actual product itself being salt and the maintenance versus it being chlorine, because a lot of people talk people out of doing it. I always certainly tried to be talked out of doing it, but I'm glad I did. It's a nicer feel. So I'll update you on that. In the meantime, let me know in comments below. I'll maybe check in with you a little bit later on today once we finish the patio and I've been to Queens. I might even film whilst I'm in Queens so that you can actually see what's going on in there as well. But fingers crossed they can sort me out with that rubber, that's for sure. Thanks for watching in the meantime, and I'll update you in the next couple of hours. Okay, just quickly, we're trying to pick a paint colour for the actual patio itself. As you can see, we've got creams, greys, all different patches. This is a Sherwin-Williams paint swatch. What do you guys think? I'm thinking 246. It doesn't have to be exactly the same obviously as this. It just needs to be a light colour that goes on here that complements all the other colours on the building, but obviously isn't going to allow it burning the feet. So yeah, I'm thinking that useful grey or repose grey, one of the two. It's got to be light. Otherwise we get burny feet. So let me know in the comments below, what do you think? Okay, so we're at 4:25. Let me show you our little sampled colours and let me know what you think. So these are the three colours we've gone and selected. This one's a grey, this one's quite a cream, and this one's an off-white. So let me know what you think about those three colours. Sherwin's been busy up here filling everything, so we're nearly filled. So tomorrow's going to be letting that go off, sanding that down. So most of the actual cracks have now been filled. So it's just a case of sanding them down. So just to give you guys an overview, the cracks were quite hairline. We took a grinder into them to get them a bit wider. We tried Rockite, which is probably the hardest concrete you can actually buy out of a bag. But the rain still managed to get them coming out for some unknown reason. So there's Rockite there, look. So you can see how the weather has worn that down. And you still get a dust off of it. We shouldn't get any dust off it at all. So this now being dried, getting nothing off it at all. And this is tile adhesive. So I think tile adhesive was our best option from day one. Now most people might say, you're mad using tile adhesive, but tile adhesive is a cement and it is waterproof. It's designed for showers. So, and then we're going to have a coating going over it anyway. So I've got most of it all in. So now it's just a case of letting that harden overnight. Tomorrow getting a rock onto it to sort of get the harder parts off. And then we'll sand it nice and flush, get it as smooth as we can. And then we'll make a decision about the colour. So as you can see, the tile is very cream. And it's quite a nice colour as well. But again, I don't want something exactly the same. I want something that complements it, but I don't really want to go down this route, this colour. As I've told you guys quite a few times in the past, I don't really like the grey. Light greys, that is. So I'd rather go for something that was a bit more, but it's got to be light because you won't be able to stand on it. So these steps here, these are a construction concrete grey. They look lovely, but you don't want to stand on them in this heat with bare feet. It's bloody hot. So, and as you can see, these colours here, they're all very, very different in their own right. This one is a grey cream. There's such a word. And on the wall, you can see the difference in the colour. Like we've put a little spot on the wall to see, make sure it's not the same. So you always see in the sun. So it is very different. So it is more of a browny, greeny grey rather than a straight grey. Although when you're on here, it does really look just grey. What Sherwin's doing at the moment is just painting something that we can put near the actual tiles on the pool, so we can actually see it in its true effect, and then we can make a decision near the tiles. So tomorrow's going to be obviously sanding down these fill marks, filling in any imperfections, holes in the concrete from bark, anything that's actually on here that shouldn't be on here, scraping those off. Koymans, bless them, have actually agreed to change the colour of the white rubber if that's what I want to go with, which is bloody good. So I can pick the colour, they can stick the 5 gallons underneath as if they're going to change 5 gallons of emulsion into a colour, and then they'll just dump the actual colours into it and mix that up for me. We can bring it down here and apply it. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to start with painting the return of the pool here and here. Do these two pieces first to see how it comes out and make sure that it looks good, it stands well, yeah, and ideally it's got that resistance we're looking for, that rubbery effect. So if it does get wet, we're not going to slip up and break our necks. And then we'll decide if it's right. Then obviously we'll go from the edge of the pool here backwards. That's what we're going to do. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the video for today. Sorry again for not being in touch with you guys as much as I normally would be. Another trip to Koymans today, which I didn't film. I did say I was going to, but I didn't film. But I will, I'll maybe do a separate video on that. I want to try and help you guys understand some of the supplies on the island and the prices and the availability. And if you guys are going to be testing it, it's certainly nice for you to know what you're contending with. Koymans is definitely the most modern of all the shops on the island, and is a little bit more UK stroke USified. But obviously that comes with a cost. Yes, so I'll try and maybe do a separate video on that so you guys can actually see what's available, costs and all that sort of stuff. In the meantime, don't forget to give me a like down below, and any comments would be greatly appreciated, and I'll upload this tonight if I can, and I will be back with you guys tomorrow.